Gator here. We're hiding in the garage. Starting to get colder. Autumn's coming on, and we started wearing the hat again. It's getting cool. Start off with, I just want to show you some. Sometimes they, if you don't know the tool exists, well, you're not looking for it, and you'll try and do without it. Some will use that. Sometimes siding A is damaged, and you want to change a sheet, or you want to unhook a sheet. Don't want to undo the whole wall. This is a tool. Hang on, I'll get closer. See this tool? The hook. That hooks. It hooks really like this. You hook it in behind the siding, and you just draw, and it unclips the sheet that's above from the sheet below, and you just do it in reverse, and it does it back, so you can go half a wall and undo the upper sheet, so then you can pull the nails, take the sheet out, change it, and then reclip it back. This tool is made by, it's called WSPN, siding removal tool. Siding removal tool, and it's made by Whiz. You know the Snip company? Probably the same. I guess they're owned by Crescent now. So it's just something like, if you don't know this exists, well, you'll be doing with your fingers, or I've done it with my fingers before. You're gonna hurt yourself, I know that. Screwdriver, and you won't have success. Well, you may, but odds are that you're gonna hurt yourself as much as you're gonna have success at it. It's just a handy tool to have if you're in the, even a homeowner, if you're dealing with, if you have any amount of vinyl siding, that's the tool to have. I have a lot at the house, the camp, the garage, the little shed at the side. Everything's made out of, today. Well, first I gotta ask you, just like last year, eh? I hope you guys, well, kept a little bit of time for this, because we're going to endeavor into the past. I remember that when we used to think back. Well, we're going to go back a few years, and why I come to think of this is I seen Grampy the other day. He's in his shed at the lake, and he's got the cover open, and I see he's got a heater in there, a baseboard heater, and he's got a thermostat. See, what a quite an elaborate setup, eh? But it's all insulated, eh? And his pump's in there. It makes sense. But it reminded me of one time I had a setup. It was a spring. It was about, I'd say 200 feet away from my camp that I had then. Not the camp that I have now, but camp that I had then. It was like a spring, okay? And had trenched, okay, 4 feet deep, right to the spring. Or really, the spring wasn't even on my property. It was on the farmer's property, but I had bought the property from him. And then I knew there was a spring there, so I made him sign me a right-of-way so that I could set up something at the spring for water instead of digging a well, eh? So I trenched 4 feet deep, eh? And I buried a pipe, and I had a foot valve down there. I had a casing, a cement casing, foot valve, and I had, what I had on top of that, you're gonna laugh, eh? Was a chunk of commercial ductwork that I got on a job, eh? that it fit over the cement casing, and that had at least 2.5 inch insulation on top, and there was an access door, so that was my door to get in there. And inside I had the pump. I had brought a 4-wire, okay? I had 2 wires that were for the pump, and then I had a tank in there, the pump, and I had another 2-wire. As I put a plug, just a normal plug, and when I had it in there, listen to this. This is where it gets squirrely a little bit. And I got a little story with that after. I had a system in there, something like Grampy, but not a baseboard heater. I had a light bulb. I had a 100-watt light bulb in there. And then here's the kicker. I had a photocell. And then I had another light bulb in series with the photocell. So if, not in series, just right off the contact of the photocell. So if the bulb that was making it heat in the ductwork, if you want to call it, or the cabane, that was my heat source. So if that ever burnt, then the other light bulb would come on through the photocell. See, the photocell sees the bulb working. It's good, it's daylight, so it doesn't need to work. So it was more or less of a fail-safe system, unless I ran out of power. But you know, like I had that for 4 or 5 years, and it never damaged the pump. So that must have worked pretty good. We did have some power outage, but never long enough to break the pump or break anything. Hey, it was a pretty good system, if I have to say so myself. Anyways, but what Grampy's got, same thing. It's probably more expensive with a baseboard heater than a wall thermostat. Instead of just a light bulb. But the clincher of the story is that same camp where I had this pump. I was young. I won't say I was foolish, but I was young then, and a young electrician, and I knew how to do electrical. This camp, or cottage, or camp, call it what you may. When you came in the door, the side door, okay, this was the main entrance for leaving or for getting there. I had four gangs. Okay, you know what a 4-gang is? A 4-gang is 4 switches. Bing, 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 bing. 4. Well, I had 4 gangs. You know what the problem was? I had a switch. See, this is where I'm leaving to go. I had a switch on a 3-way for downstairs. So if the lights in the basement were on, well, I could turn them off. I could control all the light in the camp from there. But it never dawned on me is that most of these places where I'm controlling, I can't see. So during the evening or at night, if there's no light, then I can see more or less everywhere, eh? But during the day, if I left during the day, I didn't know if I was turning on or turning off. Like a 3-way, it's either one way or another, depending which way the other. So I would have needed a pilot light for every one of those switches. So what I'm getting at, is that this was way too complicated. And most of the time, the best way is the simple way. Because if you try to complicate it, then it's just too complicated. So maybe the right way, I'm saying this, not saying that Grampy is wrong with his baseboard and I had a light bulb, I had a photocell, and I had another light bulb, and it never ends. So The trick here is keep it simple, which I didn't do then. But I learned a lot. Like I wired a lot of stuff for myself after. There's some little things like when I wire a house. I built quite a few houses for myself. One thing that I always do in the master bedroom, when I know where the bed is, well, either on one side or on the other, I always put a three-way switch to control either the light or the lamps on the night tables beside the bed. Switch and another switch at the entrance. Always put that on a three-way or a four-way, one on each side of the bed. When you know where the bed's going to be. But that just, it's little things when it's your trade, little things that you think of that. But if you don't know of them, little things like that, you don't know of that. Another thing. Well, while we're on the topic, have you got time? If you want to, let's say a lamppost outside, and you're going to install a plug for a Christmas tree, Christmas lights, okay? You want them to come on when it starts to get dark outside, but midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, you don't want to let them run all night. You want them off like at midnight or 1 o'clock or whatever you decide. You know what you do? You energize the lamppost and the plug with a photocell, but you run that photocell through a set of contacts in a time clock. So the photocell starts it, but the time clock stops it. Well, the wire, we're not going through the wiring of this, Like some of you are advanced enough to figure out, but it's just some little things. Like I installed one of these for a guy. He told me what he wanted. He had a problem. A photocell was running all night till the next morning, and he didn't want to pay all that power. So I said, well, all you got to do is put it in series with the contacts on the time clock. So the photocell decides when it's dark to turn it on, and the time clock turns it off at a certain time. You wouldn't want, you could run just a time clock, but if you'd be running a time clock like it gets dark at different times of the year. So that's why you use a photocell to energize, but you use a time clock because at 12 or 1 o'clock or let's say 2 o'clock, well, there's nothing going on anymore, so bang, the lights go out. Anyways, I don't know, I hope I didn't bore yous with my little stories. I got some little projects I'm not going to show yous guys. We got a few things cooking in the boiler. In the garage. I still have to get put my snowblower together there. I may bring you in for the the doing of it, but we still have some work to do, and before winter starts flying. Before I know there's some places that got snow, but here we're lucky. Even up north at the camp, we had snow, and we didn't. Here in the big time banana town there, we didn't get no snow per se. We got a little bit. It was coming down, but it never stayed. Okay, I flapped my gums enough for this one. Hey, don't forget, the better ones, I haven't done them yet, So one day, you guys may be getting lucky soon, and boom, I'll give you a good one. But in the meantime, well, you come back and see me. There's not much going on, but there's always a little bit, I salute you all. I will see you in the next one.